Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm live here together with Charna Ambers, and we're gonna look at some websites and discuss some personal stories of using a website, failing to use a professional agency when doing a website. And the point of this webinar is really to just hear from two people who are in this business, who deal with this stuff on a regular basis, the importance of using a professional agency and what can go wrong when you don't. And I just I have story after story of things that I deal with and companies that people that come to me with their stories, and I figured this would be a great topic to talk about, and we can look at some real life examples as well of how to fix things up, and how to make sure that you don't have these issues. I just want to stress also that today websites are really such an important part of the business because everybody's looking you up. They want to see that you present yourself professionally. So the idea really is to come across with that mindset. And if you're going to be cheap on that type of work, you're going to send it off to India or some other places, and get cheap labor. They're just not going to do a good job for you. And so here we are. We're gonna show real live examples and talk about it. Trina, why don't you tell us your experience and you know just reiterating what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had a website we did a few years ago for a client. They were in the healthcare space, which is, as we all know, very, very crowded, and you really need to stand out. We did a beautiful website for them. They changed ownership, management, whatever the case is. And a few years later, they come back to me. They had redone the site in-house, obviously. It's not doing anything for them. It's just sad to see, how destructive it could be, because if you're not giving over the right message, if it doesn't have the right design, if it doesn't have the right elements that are appropriate for your industry, and if it's not making an impact, it's a waste. It's a waste of everyone's time and money, and no one's going to stay on your website. So it's so important to have a website that's professional, that's done professionally, that's working for you in the right way, and and really accomplishing what it needs to accomplish to help you advance in your business. You don't want to be busy with it every day. You want it done, and you want it done right the first time.
Right. I'm getting a lot of companies now that are reaching out to me, and they're coming to me to ask them to help them with the design. They have something done in WordPress. They basically they either hired somebody offshore, or they hired somebody who just slapped together a template for them without any thought process, without any plan.
Right.
They charge them $1,000 for it. They got something up, and they have a presence, but it's just not doing anything for them. It's just really not it's not effectively presenting their business properly. And then they come to me and asking them to fix it up. Then I'll give them a quote for a project, and they say, well, I already spent good money on this. I said, well, you wasted your money, basically. That's
Right.
what you did.
Right. It's a liability. If you don't have a professional website, it's a liability. I tell people that every day.
Right. So I'm going to say some of the things that I've seen and in this process, some of the things that could go wrong, because that's the topic of this discussion. Just a few things that I notice all the time that I see, and I'm sure you'll have your stories as well. Okay, number one, I think this is one of my biggest pet peeves is brand new websites launched by a cheap company. They fail to put an SSL certificate on there. Today, every site needs to have an SSL if you want to be properly indexed in Google. If you don't want that security warning there, that's something that I see all the time. Then I see also very often, if you hire an offshore guy or cheap guy, this is something they do all the time. They'll rip off images from Google Images, copyrighted images.
Exactly.
They don't require licenses. Okay, and then I've seen this. I had clients that actually get letters from Getty Images or other sources saying cease and desist with a violation fine, and they have to go through their attorney. Whenever that's happened, it was either from a previous image that they had, or it was from they actually acquired the image on Google themselves and sent it to us. I'm not responsible for asking. I ask clients to make sure there's a license, but if they send it to me, I'm assuming they have the license to use it. But a cheap company will go ahead and just rip them off of Google and put them on the site, and that's obviously illegal, and you'll run into copyright violations.
And some people don't even know. They think, the images are on Google for the taking. Someone actually posted about that a few months ago. They have no idea. No, it's not there for the taking. It's there because somebody used it, and you're seeing it from their website.
Right.
So you can't just use any images you find.
Right. Absolutely true. And again, people just don't know these things. And hopefully a professional agency will give them that, that background,
Guidance.
that knowledge.
Yeah.
What else have I seen? Obviously, this is also something I see all the time, is sites up and running, and no maintenance, no plan, nothing after that. Plugins are breaking, and you have to be on top of the site and update WordPress, if it's a WordPress site, update the plugins, make sure it's up to date. Somebody leaves the company, his name should be taken out of the bio section. If there's a service that's no longer being offered, take that out. If the phone number or address changes, make sure that's updated. That's another thing that I see missed all the time. Again, and then they come to me and ask for help for these type of things.
Right.
Yeah. One of the things that I offer all my clients now is when we do a new site, we'll also set them up with a Google Business Profile and make sure it's optimized. Either if they have it, optimize it properly or not. Because again, one of the key points is not just to slap the site up, but to make sure you're found and indexable. And the Google Business page is the easiest way to do that. Why don't you share some of your examples of some things that you've seen?
Where to start? I mean, everything can go wrong. Even something like fonts, somebody will do their website on their own and say, okay, I created this in 3 hours. What can you do that's better? I mean, it's like putting together a house with Legos, so you'll have the imagery isn't appropriate. They'll even be, they'll have stop watermarks on them. They don't even know, how to use the imagery properly. The fonts will be all wrong. I mean, Comic Sans or, just using the wrong types of fonts, big, small, no hierarchy, thick and thin, bold and not thin, or even fonts that are too delicate. I went to someone's website recently and they're like, no, we have a website. We don't need a new one. Very adamant about it. I checked it out in 3 minutes flat. I sent them a whole list of things that I recommended to be fixed. You couldn't read the website. It wasn't saying anything. There was no clear header message. I think it actually had a huge logo in the middle, not doing anything for you. Nobody even knows who they are. You scroll down, it's just busy. There's very thin light text on dark backgrounds. You couldn't read it. I don't know if they thought they were being sophisticated, but you literally couldn't read it. Legibility is number one. Or the opposite, design clutter, or, even if somebody pays someone to do a website for them and you check it out a few years later and you see that they totally wrecked it and they decided to quote unquote do things in-house and, add sections, remove sections, tweak sections, and it looks like a mess and it doesn't reflect their brand anymore. It's so important to make sure that when you make updates, you either go back to the designer you use or even go back to another designer, but somebody who actually knows what they're doing and can make you, showcase your work in the best light or showcase your product or service, whatever it is. We had, I don't know, a bunch of years ago, a client didn't take maintenance with us. Of course, we also offer it and recommend it. And we, advise the clients that they must take a maintenance package either with us or with someone else, but it's a must. They didn't. And a few years later, they came back and they didn't know why their website had crashed. And they didn't understand the implication of them not taking the maintenance. It was so sad to see, you don't want your work to go to waste. You don't want your money to go to waste. I don't want my clients to waste their money. Make sure it's working for you. You must have maintenance. You wouldn't leave your car outside with the key in the engine for 2 years. You know what I mean? You can't do that. I mean, that's really, there are so many different pieces that can go wrong between the fonts, the design, the colors, making your own changes, not updating, not doing maintenance, adding or like you said, features or sections that don't belong anymore or aren't appropriate anymore, or staff. I mean, make sure it's up to date. You don't want, and even the copyright in the footer, right? Some people still say, created in 2017. That looks like they don't care about their website. It's not professional. Make sure everything looks like it was created this month, this year, that you really care about it. It reflects your professionalism. You want to tell everyone that you're up to date and on every front.
Right. I actually, any site that we launch, we don't make maintenance required. It's optional, because not that the maintenance itself isn't required, but for us to do it for them is optional. They can either have
an IT company, I do that too.
Yeah, and they can have somebody in-house do it as well if they're disciplined and follow up on it. So most of my clients will take us. We launch a site, they'll take us on the maintenance package. If they don't, they say we'll do it in-house. I'll give them a tutorial, or our staff will give them a tutorial. We give them a document that has everything. Almost invariably, within a few months afterwards, something doesn't work, or a plugin malfunctions, or the site was hacked, or something like that, and they reach out to me. So I say, who's the person that's assigned to update the site? And they'll give me somebody. I said, when was the last time you updated the site?
Never.
I get a dead silence. So I'll say, okay, if you can't be disciplined to do it, why don't you just have us do it for you? And
Right.
invariably, I'll get, we'll put them on maintenance. Sometimes it takes the experience from that to happen, for them to have us do the maintenance for them.
For sure. Yeah, that tends to happen because people don't realize, and they don't want to invest in something extra. They think it's an extra piece, and everyone can do everything in house. At the end of the day, you can't, because you got to run your business. So like, let the professionals do what they do best. You do what you do best, and you know that it's handled correctly. You don't have to worry about it.
Right. And another thing also I see is, you'll have sometimes programmers or developers, they might have they might know how to do good programming. They might know how to do good development, but they
Right.
don't know design. And
They don't. They're blind when it comes to design.
they can get something up and running, but the images, the colors, the matching, the styles just don't work. And
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, when a developer designs a website, it looks horrible. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, it's like building a house blindly, having an architect design the most beautiful structure and everything, but then having someone that's literally blind come in and do the interior design. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. They don't know design. Like, it's like having a printer design a brochure. They're good at printing, they're good at what they know, but they're not good at design.
right. David Landa has some questions, so let's ask his questions and discuss it. So he asks, would the professional agency purchase the rights to the images on my behalf? Let me hear your take on that and how you deal with it, and I'll tell you how I do it.
We do, but in the scenario that they want the image for something else, depending on what it is. But yeah, the answer is yeah, we do purchase it on your behalf. If it gets out of hand, you need, I don't know, 200 images or something, that obviously would, fall out of a standard package. But yeah, typically we do purchase. I mean, what do you do?
So for those clients who, like you said, the ones that are really pumping out images, they need them on a regular basis. They aren't that common, but for those clients, we'll recommend that they make their own account, give us access to it, and then we'll just buy it for them. We'll just log into their account and buy it. But for the vast majority of our clients, we are going to buy it for them. I'll use Adobe Stock or a Free Pick, which I have accounts with, and the legal license allows you to purchase it on their behalf, meaning I buy the license and I can use it for my client sites. So typically speaking, I'll often bill them for for the license fee on the images used, but we will buy it for them and we'll place it for them. We'll just show them the watermark samples. Here's what, that way they can sample it before we actually buy it for them, and then they approve it and we'll buy it for them.
And you do charge them for the images?
Yeah, we'll charge them for the images. I mean, again, if I'm doing one or two, if they provide images, let's say photography, they get real photography, or and they just need one or two supplements, and we're doing a full site for them, I might not even bother. But if we're doing a good amount of images, or it's
20,
like
40, yeah.
If we're using a lot of images, then that's not included in the in our package. Meaning, I'll throw it in if it's here and there, and it's I'm not gonna bill them $3, $5, $10 extra.
Right.
If it's a little more.
No, but it can add up. I mean, 40 images adds up. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So then another question was, do we do the copy in-house, or does the client bring the copy on their own? Okay, these are great questions.
Great question. Yeah.
You want to answer that first also?
Okay, so it's a very good question. Everyone does it differently. Every company does this differently, and some people do have everything in-house. Personally, I don't know how you do it, but personally, I work with a copywriter, quote unquote, in-house, who's not really in-house, but I do offer an in-house copywriter if people want. Sometimes they like it under the same umbrella. It feels easier for them, and it's all, collaborative. I also work with outside copywriters as well. So you don't have to bring your own copy. I highly recommend using one of our preferred copywriters, either an in-house person or someone else that we recommend, just because every project is unique and different. And I believe in getting the best for the best project. You get the best results that way. So I don't, believe in one size fits all. And I do prefer to work with a specific copywriter for each type of project, depending on the needs of the client. But it's a great question. What do you do?
So I do. Okay, so in the olden days, I've been doing this for a very long time. Before this wasn't, a big thing for websites, I would have the client give me all the material, all the content. I said,
Right.
give me your marketing material, give me your logo, give me everything. And as the websites and the industry evolved, I realized that this is definitely something we need to produce for them. We need to
Exactly.
create the content. We need to, because they don't know what they need to do. They don't know what they want. They don't know. They don't
Right.
have time for it. So then we started offering content, and I have we have an, it's kind of in-house. I would say it's in-house. He's a contract. We have two writers that we're using. Our main, David Kunkel is our main writer. He doesn't only work exclusively for us, but he's pretty much, he's working for our clients. And then we recently brought on Alan Zoldan as well. But I do outsource as well some additional things. Let's say Hyla Fast will write some bios for us. We
Right.
have a good team that we work together with. But most of the clients today, most of the projects, we're doing at least part of the content. We'll help them with the homepage and let's say about page and a services page.
Very
Obviously,
smart.
some pages they don't need it. A contact page doesn't need any content. We just get their contact info, build a map, build a form, but
Right.
we'll try to assess their business and see what pages need to be built for them. And most of the clients will write the content. There are clients, let's say all the law firm websites that we've done so far, they're giving us all the content. I guess law firms, that's part of what they do is write. So we never had to write for a law firm. But we do help them if they give us a content. I'll say, no, that's going to be way too large. You need to break it up into bite-sized chunks, sectionalized.
Right.
We'll give them, if they're giving us the content, we'll give them suggestions how to break it up. Ultimately, we're not. Once I have to bring in the writer on board and it's a cost, that cost has to be applied to them. If I'm just giving them suggestions, or our designer is giving them suggestions, we'll include that as part of what we're doing. Once we have to bring the writer on board, then that will cost additional, or if we're actually writing. And what I'll try to do is assess how many pages they need and give them a cost based on how many pages we're writing for them.
Yeah, and that's also, by the way, something that could come up when you don't use professional content, or even when you try to do it in-house cheaply. We're talking about stories before. I remember there was a story also, way back when we did a website for a client, back before the processes were a little bit more concrete and specific. And, it was like, also, like you said, give me all your content, give me all your stuff. And, the client says, yeah, I'll have it for you next week. And we go along with the flow. That was before now. We wouldn't do that now. And, and we basically finished the entire website, and I had a clause in my contract. We put in placeholder, content if you don't have your own content, and then to switch it later would be a fee if it's after the project. And of course, nobody thinks it's going to be after the project. But way back when we did things a little bit differently, and now we must have the copy before we even start the project, because there's no other way to do it. You'll never get it otherwise. But back then we were just, relying on the client to provide it. Client never provided it. We did placeholder content. They came back like, I don't know, a couple years later, and they were livid that we wouldn't just replace the content. But replacing the content at that point meant literally redoing the entire website, because you can't fit content into a design. Content comes first. The design is based on the copy. So right. It was a total mess, and they were so frustrated. But like we had tried to tell them the whole time, like, we need a copy in order to design. No, just design first. It'll be fine. We'll fit it in. At the end of the day, they had to pay, probably double just to make it work. So that's also another reason that, you want to use a professional agency, because they really guide you. Otherwise, you're picking hair, you're pulling hairs from everywhere. You're picking pieces up, and trying to make them fit together, and they don't fit. So, there's a process, and if it needs to be followed in order to, get an efficient website.
Right. I guess one of my pet peeves of seeing that sites that were not done professionally, were done by a cheap, overseas, or again, I don't have any problem with overseas people. They can do great work, but they just don't understand the American market. They don't understand the business model over here. They might know Photoshop inside out. They might know HTML, WordPress, and they do. But either they need a manager who knows the American market to manage them, or they need some, to just bring them on board without any direction. You're going to end up with a mess. Or it might look nice, but at the end of the day, it's not going to properly present your business. It's going to cost you. It's gonna hurt the business. I'll tell you some of the things I see all the time, and this is I crack up because I know exactly what happened there. You ever see like social media icons on the bottom of a website? You click on the Facebook link. Where does it take you to? Facebook.com. Okay?
Exactly. Right.
Okay. It doesn't.
They forget to update it.
They don't even have a Facebook page, but they left the social media icons there from the template without linking it. Or how about the lorem ipsum a dummy text that stayed in that section that nobody ever replaced and nobody ever
I've
noticed,
seen that also. Yeah, it looks
right?
unprofessional. It looks like in the middle, you know?
Right. And that could be there for a year or two and nobody noticed it and nobody clicked that link because it just
Right.
they've hired the guy to do the job, but they didn't put any thought and effort into it because it was trying to save a few dollars when you can really build a business like that. One of my
Exactly.
biggest points in this is like, you know, if you do this the right way, you spend the extra money on it to do it right. It doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money. I'm saying just go with the industry standard.
Right.
One loss in the one loss of a customer that's not impressed or you turned off, that can cost you the your that can, that can cost you the website costs. So you might as well do that right and get the business. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, and another thing also I've seen where, you mentioned about we were talking about using stock, but even non-stock, even copywriting or designs, I've seen people literally copy, when you use someone like you said overseas or whatever, somebody very cheap who doesn't know what they're doing, not professional, chances are they're literally taking a template or they're literally taking a design or even the images and they're literally copying it from client to client. So you're not even getting anything unique. The money you're paying isn't even worth it because you're getting someone else's design, you're getting someone else's images, you're getting someone else's even the copywriting. There have been stories where people literally copy the content on someone else's website. Or I had a client actually come to me a few years ago. It was really strange. He asked me if I did another competitor's website, and I had said, not, I didn't know the competitor. Why were they asking? When we checked it out, we realized why. It was exactly copy of my client's website. Literally, they probably went to some other, I don't know, developer, some cheap developer and said, make me, a site that looks like that. And they took them literally and made them exactly the same website as their competitor. I mean, obviously, we all understand it's not going to help them. It wasn't done for them. It's not going to advance anything in their business. But when you don't use a professional, you don't know, you're not getting something specific and unique. It's just not possible. Like if you pay $500 for a website as opposed to 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is, it's not possible that for that $500 they're creating something so unique and they're spending weeks and research and whatever. It just doesn't happen. That's why you're not paying a lot of money. There's even companies, even local companies I've heard of that. I bumped into a designer who knew another designer, whatever, and they're working for a certain company, and they're knocking out very cheap websites for a lot of people within a certain industry, and they're literally using the same template with the same images for all those companies. Like it's a waste of money. Why are
Right.
you even
Right.
wasting the money? But people don't know. They just, they're trusting the people they hire. That's why, researching the people you hire is so, so important because otherwise people wouldn't know. But when you pay money, you want it to be custom created for you, whether it's a template or not. It has to advance your business, not your competitor's business. That's just like a waste.
Right. I just your example that you just gave, I've actually seen that where they didn't change the company name, let's say on the about page, and like it still said the company they copied, they copied it
Oh
from
no,
there. And I guess nobody noticed, but that can be a big lawsuit. I mean, if that other company sees that,
that's
that's
insane. That's
I've
crazy.
seen it. I actually saw that, and
Wow.
I'm
Did you
sure
call them out?
I did. I definitely did. And I mean, that's why they came to me. At that point, they were already frustrated. But I
Wow.
found that in the text, and they didn't even notice that. And it was there for it was probably over a year undetected.
Wow.
You know.
And some people don't even know. Like I've heard people and companies even say like, oh, everyone in this industry copies everyone else. Just pull it from the other, about page and pull it from the other website. They don't even know. I mean, like that's not how you do things, but people just don't even know. Like when they do it themselves, that's what you end up with.
Right. Other things I've seen is let's just once we're on the topic,
Mhm.
I guess issues with responsive design when they don't test it on multiple platforms. So like on a
Yeah,
tablet or
this
on,
is a big one.
or on a mobile phone, like the whole thing can be messed up, or an image gets some of the images get missing. Let's say also like text, making live text that's indexable in the search engines, proper title tags, meta
Yeah,
descriptions. Cheap agencies won't even bother with that. They won't even bother with title tags.
right.
They just have home. It's the homepage says home. It's and no description. Um, and then frozen images, frozen text on images, right? That doesn't properly resize and it doesn't get picked up by the search engines.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's the companies that do the same. They'll offer you a whole marketing package with social media and blogs and everything, but they're writing the same thing for the other 25 people that are using the same.
Exactly. And that's how they're giving it so cheap. That's one of my pet peeves. I just, it bothers me a lot. Like, don't claim to sell the Brooklyn Bridge and like, sell everything for $2,000 and who knows what. When you get That's why I'm like so, I'm so big on hiring the best people for each best job, whether it's a copywriter, design, the developer, the whatever it is, like hire the best for each piece because when you get like doing like all in one and that kind of thing, chances are they're not doing any one specific thing amazing. Especially if they're not charging you a lot. Like there's a reason why. There's no such thing as like, if it's something is too cheap, it usually is.
Right. I was just working with on a potential prospect. They wanted a new website, and I gave him a quote, and he came back to me and said, I was looking more for like $1,500 for the website plus the content. Like, well, I can't help you.
No,
You know.
no, it's not possible. He's looking for cheap, but cheap comes with a price. They say cheap is expensive, and it really is because you're going to end up redoing it. The $1,500 is going to spend on a website and copy. I mean, something is going to give. It doesn't make sense. Not possible.
Right. Again, he'll have it done offshore. I never understood how the offshore people can do like SEO and content. Like they know English. I mean, they know English, but they don't know the American vernacular and market, and they just
Right.
So I never understood that. You know what I'm saying? But
Maybe they're paying someone over here.
Who knows? So let's see if we can look at a few sites together and see how they follow these rules. David, did you mention that website there? You want us to take a look at it? David, let me unmute you.
Why not? I mean, I made it around 10 years ago or 8 years ago. I haven't been using it for a few years, and it was made by a professional. But why not? Take it a look. Why not?
Okay, so I'm going to share it. I'm going to share the screen here. By the way, just another thing that I'll mention is this is not the topic of our discussion, but a site that was done, you could have had a site done really nicely, 10 years ago or 7 years ago or even 5 years ago. But with today's screen sizes and adjustments and design trends, it's going to be out of date. So even if you use a professional agency 5 years ago or more.
We have updated it for sizing. That I did. A couple of times I got emails from maybe it was GoDaddy, I don't know who it was anymore, updated for sizing, so that I took care of.
Got it. Okay, so here we are. Charna, why don't you take the first crack at it?
You sure you don't want to?
All right, fine. I'll start before you can then.
I'll let you start.
I'll let you share this. I'll let you maybe take the screen over after if you want. That way you can scroll. Okay. Right. First of all, the logo is a little blurry. There's a blur on the logo. I would put bold. Make it's hard to read the menu. They're a little. The fonts are a little light. Today, images are full width. You want to have a full immersion effect on the background image. Okay. Also, this text is too long. Have you built? No one's reading this much. You got to get the message. Got to be shorter. Have you built or purchased a new home or condo in the last 2 years, or have you completely renovated your home? You probably paid a lot of HST. Way too much. Okay. What is HST? I don't know what HST is. You got to explain that. Okay. I like the call to action. Not enough contrast here. Also, like.
Yeah, you can't read the second part of it.
Yeah, and on the buttons, a little too dark. Okay. Who we are, and then again, the text is not really that readable here. You have to capture people's attention as they're scrolling. People are just going to scroll down, get their attention in bursts of content that they're going to relate to. Okay, so this is hard to read. Also, that gray background is kind of not enhancing. That style is kind of old school. The textured background. I do like this, background here. Although I would tell you to do is a parallax image today, where there's an effect as it scrolls. Also, you can have loading animated effects as you load. Things come in as you load. What else here? Okay, call to action underneath here. All right, 1 second. I feel like I'm getting the whole page now. I'm gonna let Charna take over. Why don't you? Yeah, the link. I'm sending you the link in the chat here. You can open it up and you can share the screen yourself.
Okay.
It's not bad, David. We're I've seen a lot worse, but I enjoy ripping up websites.
It's fine. I'm not insulted. HST is because it's a .ca. So if you live in .ca, you'll know what HST means.
Okay.
Okay, so a stranger wouldn't know.
Right.
Yeah, so I agree
No
with all
matter
your
anyone
points.
who's coming onto this, any target of mine is to know exactly what HST is.
One second, scroll back up. This is in Safari. You notice how that button is not in the right position either, even a little further up. So you want to cross-check it in multiple browsers, even further up.
Yeah.
See that? You see the find out how? On my Chrome, it was part of the background. Here
Whoa.
it's like the
Interesting.
find out how button is kind of floating around.
Yeah. It also doesn't have an SSL.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
I should have pointed that out right away. Good catch.
It wasn't worth my paying for it. That's the bottom line.
Also, one thing in the background image, why do you have like palm trees there? Are you servicing, let's say, Florida, or
Good question.
you're servicing Toronto or Canada? Palm trees is not the right background image. Get some little.
Yeah, you want it to look realistic.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah, the text is very different on mine than on yours. So yeah, the find out how, like this button is falling off the picture. You definitely, I mean, I'm on Chrome right now, but you definitely want to, make sure it's responsive for all browsers and for all systems. Yeah, we get rid of the gray textured background. That's not doing anything. And the text will also show up more clearly once you do that. Okay, like this, you said parallax, and also you just need some more breathing space under the text.
Yeah.
You see how the text just runs into the edge. You need more breathing space. It also gives like a more airy feel. How it works, I don't know if I would make the contact form red and underlined. Like you want people to see it, but that's a little overkill, no? Phone number, I mean, just today's day and age, you could put dots instead of dashes, but that's not like, make it or break it. The icons are definitely a little bit outdated.
Yeah.
Now, we do a little bit more, thin, a little bit more specific. Here's a toggle. That works. There's a lot of them.
I would put the FAQ on a separate page, not as part of the homepage. I would have a UR FAQ and the call to action button. And
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
also,
don't need it on the homepage.
Yeah. And also,
and instead of saying contact us, what?
Look how tight the space is here as well.
Yeah, yeah. Instead of saying contact us, over here, contact form. I mean, you have the form right here. So if you get rid of the FAQs, you'll just see the form right there in the footer. I'm not liking the yellow contact us. It was just introduced at the end of the page, so it doesn't really fit with your coloring. Over here, I think the footer could use a little bit more consistency. The bold white and then the unbold gray doesn't really go. Like I'd make it a little bit more consistent. Let's see. 2013. Wow. Okay.
2013. Yeah. By the way,
So listen.
It hasn't been touched. It's not really actively been doing anything now.
But still, people see that and they see that and I'm like, oh, this company's outdated. Even if they didn't build an impression on the webpage, that's
Yeah.
I put automatic code there. It's and
right.
I put server code just when January 1st the next year, the date will change automatically.
Right, there's automatic code, yeah. But the truth is, certain designs or templates, like even if you say it was created in 2021, they're gonna know it wasn't. But it does look more professional to have the current date. And then I realized it's a one-page site.
Right.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized that now. But the truth is, for 2013, I think it's amazing. It's still holding up. It's not awful. It's not cluttered. It could be cleaned up a little bit, but I don't think it's as bad as I would have expected from 2013. So that's pretty good.
I use the professional. I do use the professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am very impressed with this for a 2013 site. This is very impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And you know what? Even the SSL 2013, there was no requirement for SSL on an informational website.
That's true. Right.
I think Google
for
required
2013, that was pretty good.
Only like 3-4 years ago.
Right, so by the time SSL came a thing, it was already winding down the use of the website. I only have it still keep it active because the name of my company is newmanrebate.ca, so I have to have the website, but mostly it's by phone and email now.
Right. Okay, let's do the next one. Mickey Cohen asked me to do his thing. He's not able to make it, but he asked us to give him his website. So let's do Mickey Cohen's website, which is Unicom Telecom. I'm going to share my screen, and then I guess we can do the same thing. I'll start with mine, and then you can do yours. Hold on. Can you see my screen share? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just did a Google search for their company. Right here, I would say get some more Google reviews. Don't just have one Google review here. And then put some more pictures here. You know that the logo needs to be resized for this. But let's look at the website because that's the main thing we're looking at here. Okay. So, whoa! Look at this scroll bar. Does it mean it's not responsive? It's resizing. I don't know. I don't think it's definitely not responsive. Okay, it's got some weird design issues there. Okay,
Wow.
The logo is okay, so it's not cut off. It's just not responsive. See how the terms of service is cut off? Voice data. So this is good. The header is not too bad, and the colors, like I guess it matches the logo. But this is very busy. This background, it's hurting my eyes. I can't even read the text on here because the background is distracting me. Too much text.
Too complicated.
Here. Yeah, way too busy, and it's like giving me a headache. And it's just.
I would say the text is a little too close together too. Like that paragraph you highlighted.
Yeah. You see what I'm highlighting?
There's no.
Yeah, you see the margin on the text is overlapping.
Yeah.
Request a quote. That's really annoying. A call to action thing on the same page is not cool. Okay. About us. This is the text is too much, too small. Break it up. It'll make it a little exciting. Also, same thing. Too much text, hard to read. The fonts are not good.
Yeah, the fonts are really bad. They look blurry almost.
Yeah. Also, very boxy. Very boom. Like it's a little too boxy there.
Yeah.
A little more graphic. It needs a little more. I don't know. It's not soft enough. It's just not flowing well for me.
Yeah.
All right. I think this is a one-page scroll. Let's see. This is no, it's not. but this get a quote went back to the home page. Okay, so this is a confusing navigation. You either got to be consistent, either all scroll or all on the same. It's definitely confusing. Our partners 8x8. Don't say our partners and just have one partner here and then see more. So why don't you just show all the partners here?
Right.
Right.
Or if they don't show it at all.
And this link doesn't even go anywhere. There's nothing more to see.
Yeah. Okay. It doesn't look good.
Right. And when you click this logo, it just shows the logo and okay, doesn't do anything.
No.
Oh, there are some other links. There are supposed to be others here. You see this?
Maybe you had to click it? That's really weird.
It's really weird. Yeah, definitely there's some user interface issues here. Terrible fonts. Terrible fonts.
Yeah, very bad.
And the icons are a little too nonprofit. Why is there some outline of a person here?
They're also proportionally off. The sizing doesn't make sense.
Yeah. These fonts. Yeah, I'll let you do a screen share now, and you can take control.
All right, where's this website?
Oh, I'm putting it in the comments for you. Unicomtelecom.com. This looks like a template site that was just plopped in.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh, this does have an SSL, but I'm surprised that it doesn't have a that it's not. You also have that scroll. You see, so it's not just my screen.
It's awful. I mean, this background is just awful. I'm sorry, I have to say that again. And even this tagline over here, it's really just kind of floating there. It's not really doing anything. That bothers me.
Right.
Either have it on one line or I don't know. You don't need it. It's like those people that want the logo to take up the whole ad. You know what I mean? You don't need your tagline blasted at the top. I don't know. It's kind of just not here and not there.
Also, the logo is very 90s style, the font.
Yeah, it's an icon. It's two icons put together. It's very stocky. Yeah. So the logo is definitely not professional, and the tagline isn't doing anything. Right. Maybe
Who
if it
has
were
phones
written
that today, also the C and the com, right? Nobody has phones like that today.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ask a millennial, what is that? They don't even know what that is.
Yeah. it's not contemporary. The tagline, again, I think just like either write in a normal font, don't put it touching the top. I don't know. It's just not working there. This background is way too complex. You can't even read it. You can't read the text. Again, this just needs more leading, which is the spacing between the lines, and a drop bigger maybe.
Yeah.
And also more consistency between all the sizes. Like you see over here about us, and then over here it's tiny.
Right.
This
About us
text,
is very large, which could be fine if the other text was consistent.
right. But even like our partners, you see our partners is smaller. So I would definitely, it needs consistency. These icons, you notice the wireless one is thicker, the cloud one is thinner, and the voice one is filled in. Like you want consistency between all the elements, the design and the copy.
Also, they have an about us page, so why do they have all that text there when they can just have half of it and link to the about page? With the
right,
yeah.
right. And this text you definitely cannot raise. Too thin, too small. It doesn't match anything else. Again, it's proportionally.
And there should also be a call to action to those services above as well.
Definitely, yeah. You need a call to action. You need more spacing, like above and below in each section. Our partners, it's like too close to the top edge. And then there's more space in here. And then why switch is too close to the top edge. It's like, it does look like a template that someone just, popped in. This is interesting.
Yeah.
This is definitely interesting. I don't know how professional this is, but definitely interesting. And you see over here, this icon's getting cut off, easier to manage. You see that hand?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's, that's definitely an issue. Testimonials, I don't even know where to start. The gray box, the black box, the text you can't read. You can't even use the arrows because they're falling off the black box. And all these different colors. Ooh, I'm sorry. It's
also the generic Manhattan skyline background. And
yeah,
and even the message itself, retail, Rebecca, director. Who is Rebecca the director of purchasing for? Say her name, say what company.
Say the company name.
Robert
exactly.
F, CTO,
Yeah.
It's taken from the, I mean, that's, yeah.
And then there's the gray and the blue. I'm just curious. And they don't have their logo on the footer. The logo is black and green, so I'm not sure where the gray and blue comes in. Right. The colors, the brand color should be consistent. Everything here is gray, blue, black, and then suddenly you have like a light gray taking over. I don't know. That wasn't primary before. That wasn't predominant. So this feels off. Get a quote in white. I don't think that really makes sense. Fill in your info. Text is not aligned to the fields. There are way too many things on this footer.
Yeah.
And you don't even have the logo. Like forget the tagline. You don't need to blast the tagline all over, but you do need the logo. So that's just, and they don't have a sticky header.
Right,
of course, that's more contemporary.
If they have a scroll, they definitely don't have a sticky header, right?
Yeah, definitely. When was this made? It doesn't even say. Yeah. Should we check out another page? Let's see. Okay, loading time is definitely
speed issues as well.
Yeah, definitely too long.
Oh,
and this looks different on your screen.
Oh boy.
You see that? That's why it's so important to check this out on different screens, because it's literally, look at this, totally getting cut off.
All you see is the guy's fingernails. I mean, that's
yeah. You can't even see the about us. Yeah, so that's really bad. I mean, this cutout shape literally looks like a cutout shape. It's not working. There's too many graphics here. Like you can't read anything. There's
look
like
how it's not aligned. Also, you see how the icons and the text below it are not aligned either.
Nothing is aligned. Yeah, that's really bad. You're right. The nonprofit is kind of falling off.
This is like a Back to the Future font that just stuck in.
Yeah, it's not working. It's like it was somebody's favorite font, but it's not working. I mean, there's like 4 different graphics going on here. Like you can't even read it. I mean, this is just, look at the phone. I mean, it's not very updated.
I can't help but to laugh at this last day.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great, for 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but this is not working.
Yeah. At least the guy has the red string on his hand, so he won't have any issues with, I and her or anything like that.
That's actually funny. All right, should we move on?
I don't know. I think I don't even know if we need to look at any other pages here.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Okay. So I think, I mean, we could spend all day doing this. I mean, I enjoyed doing these and reviews, but we all have to get back to work. Yeah, I guess, well, I guess to end off, I'll just, say, I'll say my name and my contact info and how they can reach out, and then you'll do the same. And just in summation, what we're here to show is that you really don't be cheap on this. If you're a real company, and don't be cheap on the budget. You're not cheap on other things. If you have a bathroom, you hire somebody to clean it, because you want to just have everything professional. Any service that you have that you want to have done right, this is an essential part of businesses today in 2021. This is your real estate. People are looking online. Give them a good impression. Hire a professional company to do the job, so you don't have the issues that we just described, which I'm telling you, you pay $1,000 for a website, $2,000 for a website, you will see all those issues that we talked about, because it will happen. It's not a matter of of maybe, it will, and I see this all the time. So, you want your company, make sure your company is presented well, have a professional website, and that's what we do. We both have independent companies, but we both appreciate this type of work and having it done professionally. My name is Heshy Friedman. Company is Radio Creations, www.radiocreations.com. Trying to share your information as well, how they can reach out to you.
Charna Ambers, cbdesignny.com. I'm also on LinkedIn as well as you. You're also on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can find us both on LinkedIn. And happy to do anybody who watches this, after the fact. I will be happy to do a private roast for you as well, or do a quick review of your website, and to show you what we can do to help improve it. That's something that I offer to clients, to prospects as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was great. I'm happy to have joined you on this, and
thank you for having me. This is great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm going to take care.